evening, we bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
We bring you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Diego Dario. And in tonight's game plan, we'll check in with Petro Gazz Angels Chi Saet and Gretchen Soltones as they book the last slot in the Premier Volleyball League 2022 Open Conference Finals.
We'll also break down the upcoming PBA Governors Cup Final showdown. Who has the edge between Barangay Ginebra and the Meralco Bolts? And we'll listen to some courtside stories from Fiona Bacani and Bea Havante as they talk about the Ildefonso brothers and Clint Escamis. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. After losing the first game of the semi-series, the Petro Gazz Angels have completed their come-from-behind win, booking the last final slot in the Premier Volleyball League 2022 Open Conference. Now tonight, Petro Gazz captain and veteran setter Chi Saet and high-scoring hitter Gretchen Soltones join us live to share how they look forward to the PVL Finals. Chi, Gretch, congratulations ulit and welcome to the game.
Hi, Idols!
Hi po.
All right.
Hi po. Good evening po.
Good evening. And Chi, I want to start off with you kasi the last time you were interviewed, medyo, naging emotional ka eh. Nakita natin lahat yon. I was wondering, what did you feel? Ano yung mga emotions mo that went through you, especially now that you can look back at it and okay ka na?
Yung kagabi po, syempre, tears of joy. Charot. Hindi, tears of joy po talaga. Kasi, tsaka yun nga, na-overwhelmed din po. Kasi syempre, grabe naman po talaga yung pinagdaanan namin against Signal. Hindi po talaga biro nun. And, kumbaga, yung butas ng karayom talagang nilustot namin yun eh. Parang talagang dinaanan po talaga namin para maitawid ng maayos at para makuha yung ticket pa final.
And grabe nga, no? Grabe yung pinakita nyo dun sa semifinals matchup na yun. Undefeated yung tinalo nyo. But, Gretchen, maraming hindi umasa sa naging takbo nung semifinals na yun, no? After nung straight sets nung Signal, nung Game 1, ano yung nagbago? Ano yung naging adjustments nyo nung Game 2 and Game 3? Kasi parang grabe rin yung motivation nyo eh, to close out the series.
Sa amin kasi talaga ng Game 1. Pero yung mga previous games pa, parang nakikita na kasi namin na mabilis kami mag-adjust sa bawat isa. So, nung Game 1 namin sa semis, nagkulang lang talaga kami. Pati yung sabi nga ng mga coaches namin, kahit kami alam namin na yun, kulang talaga ng eagerness manalo. Mas gusto ng Signal manalo that time. Pero yun nga, sabi namin, umabot na kami sa ganitong sitwasyon, i-grab na namin to. At alam naman namin yung pinagdaanan namin na sa team. Tapos, pinunan lang namin yung mga kulang namin. At yung bawat isa sa amin, willing matuto kahit, alam mo, like Ate Mami A, Aiza Maizo, parang kahit legend na siya, nakikinig pa rin siya, di ba? Kumbaga, there's a lot of rooms for improvement nga.
Well, Gretchen, first of all, I'd like to say that grabe yung branding mo today kasi kahit yung tumbler mo naka-uniform eh. At nakita natin yun sa side eh. But then, of course, si Myla Pablo was one of the big stories of this series in particular. Kasi parang tinago nyo siya eh. Can you talk about yung pagbalik niya sa team nyo in terms of her being healthy and her being as big as she was para sa serye na to?
Si Ate Mai kasi, like last nung PVL pa, she has injury po sa tuhod and yung mga iba pang minor. So, kumbaga tinatansya po ng mga coaches kung kailan siya pwede. And also, may hinahanap pa kasi yung coaches namin kung paano yung ganitong rotation, kung ano yung adjustment, and then paano namin, kung saan ilalagay namin yung mga placing attacks namin para yung trabaho namin mapadali. And, yun nga, parang sabi nga namin, parating sabi ni Ate China, pag nagkamali, yung anchor natin sino. So parang, yun nga kami nakikinig kasi good leader nga si Ate G. Tapos kami, followers niya. So parang, mas madali talaga trabaho namin ngayon kasi bawat isa nakikinig.
And kitang-kita nga yun sa pinakita nyo. Now, Ate Chi, I just wanted to ask you, between Game 2 and Game 3, sobrang liit nung recovery time nyo. Basically, back-to-back game. Naramdaman nyo ba yun nung Game 3? And paano kayo nag-push through towards that victory?
Speaking of recovery, actually wala talagang time para maka-recover. Talagang pagpikit mo, pagmulat mo, ay eto na. Wala parang kumbaga kung nag-all out kami ng game to, kumbaga nag-usap-usap kami na itotodot pa rin talaga namin itong game 3. Yun nga, gaya ng sabi ko last night, mas uhaw talaga kami dahil mas gusto namin talagang manalo at mas gusto namin kunin yung ticket na yun. And then, syempre, yung goal namin, gusto namin ma-achieve.
Well, Chi, now moving on to yung finals matchup nyo against Creamline, for you, in particular, grabe familiar phone na to
Oo.
Ano yung feeling every time you go up against a team like Creamline? And then, siguro, what are the biggest differences from yung team nyo ngayon to the team that you had before the last time you played them?
The last time was reinforced kasi merong import. So, way back 2019 po yata yun. Tama, 2019 yung last na naglaban kami ng in finals with Creamline. So, yun nga, eto ngayon, lahat Pinoy, kumbaga, hindi naman, kumbaga wala naman kasing kumbaga equal lang lahat. I mean, Creamline, wala namang kailangan na same as Petro Gazz. It's just kung sino lang talaga yung mas merong malaking puso. Yun siguro yung I think na makakuha ng panalo.
Yeah, and grabe nga yung rivalry nyo, no? Pangatlong beses nyo na makakatapat yung Creamline sa finals. Pero, of course, yung mga fans din, sobrang excited na mapanood yung finals na yun. Ate Gretch, ano yung mga message nyo sa mga Petro Gazz fans sa pagpasok nyo sa finals?
Thank you po kasi sinusuportahan pa rin nila kami hanggang dulo. Manalo man o matalo. At sana wag po silang magsawa sa amin.
Gretchen, G, maraming salamat and good luck for your finals matchup. We can't wait to see it and I'm 100% sure magiging yung social media, yung lahat ng mga arena na yung magiging venue. Maraming salamat.
Thank you po.
Okay, meanwhile, a new training facility for national athletes will soon rise at the First Pacific Leadership Academy in Antipolo. The MVP Sports Foundation and FPLA with Premium Megastructure Incorporated unveiled a collaborative project to build the Center for Sports Excellence through a groundbreaking ceremony held on Saturday, April 2. The Center for Sports Excellence aims to be the new home for elite teams and athletes supported by the MVPSF, beginning with boxing and badminton. MVPSF Chairman Manny V. Pangilinan says there have been long-term plans to develop the site as part of the program to help Filipino athletes realize their full potential and become world champions. After the break, we'll try to answer who has the edge coming into the PBA Governors Cup Finals between Barangay, Ginebra, and the Meralco Bolts. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back to the game. We are 1 day away from the PBA Governors Cup Finals, where two teams remain on the brink of the conference title. Now, for PBA fans, it's a very familiar matchup between Barangay Ginebra and the Meralco Bolts. But who has the edge this time around? Now, joining us to really discuss that and more is PBA commentator Jat Sulit. Jat, I'm always glad to have you on the show, and syempre, kwentuhan nga tayo that we really should be asking Diego everything.
Absolutely. Tsaka parang first time na partners kasi usually kami ni Jot yung partner.
Yeah.
Pareho kayong anchor.
This is actually a strange setup sa totoo lang.
Yeah.
But okay, let's get going here. So unang-una, let's talk about game 1, yung history niya. Because in 2016, Meralco won game 1. 2017, Ginebra won the first 2 games, and in 2019, Ginebra won game number 1. Sa palagay mo ba, syempre, it's hard to make predictions, but then, do we overemphasize the importance ng game 1?
I don't think we overemphasize it kasi as with anything, it's setting the tone.
Yeah.
Parang yung first quarter with every single game that you play, regardless if it's in the finals or your very first game of the conference, right? You always want to come out strong and kind of set the tone, because now, mas may adjustments na kailangan gawin yung other side as compared to them firing the first shot and added work yun eh.
Yeah.
To adjust eh.
Yeah, do you agree with that, Jegs?
I think I agree with that. I mean, both teams for sure want to get that first game to put the pressure on the other team. But, let's talk about individual players now, Jat.
Yeah.
You wanted to emphasize 2 players from Ginebra. First off is LA Tenorio. We kind of see how LA has a switch when it comes to the playoffs. He sets it up a notch. Why do you think LA is important for Ginebra?
First up, Diego, the 2 players I chose para sa Ginebra are both locals. The main reason why is I think Brownlee's a given. I mean, how many times have we seen this guy absolutely take over? And first with LA Tenorio, I'll emphasize first the minutes. In the elimination round, he averaged 35 minutes a game. When the playoffs started up until, when they won Game 4 of the semis, umangat yung average niya to 41.2 minutes a game. And I think that's a big jump for someone who's been in the league for so long and someone who has not missed a game in almost 2 decades, di ba yata? And it just shows how important LA is to this team. Of course, meron pa ring talks about that one game they lost in the semis where they said LA could have made better decisions. Sure, that's there. Pero kung may isa kang pagbibigyan ng bola aside from Brownlee maybe in the most crucial of situations for Ginebra, you still want that basketball with LA.
Grabe, I think LA started his PBA career, nasa high school pa tayong dalawa. Ito, nasa grade school.
High school ka na nun, kami ni Diego parang starting to walk pala.
Okay, so ito naman si Scottie Thompson that you wanted to mention also. Siyempre, he is now one of the frontrunners, if not the frontrunner, for the BPC award. And do you think that he still needs to keep playing at that level to ensure that, 1, he wins that individual award, and 2, of course, to really make things more difficult for the Meralco Bolts?
I think the 3 of us have had enough interactions with Scottie to know that he's after more than the individual plum, right?
Yeah.
Pero you make a strong point, Pao. Papasok pa lang tayo ng semi, Scottie was the only active player who belonged in maybe the top 5 or top 4 of that BPC race. A lot can still happen, but he's, I would say, pretty much a shoe-in there. But again, he's chasing that title. Scottie is so important to Ginebra because he has been their most consistent local throughout the entire conference. This is a guy standing 6'6" maybe, if you want to be generous.
Yeah.
And he averaged 9.9 rebounds in the elimination round, 9.6 throughout the entire conference. And more than that, yung shooting niya from outside, sobrang taas ng confidence niya ngayon shooting from deep, and it has changed the confidence of the entire Barangay Ginebra team. And 6 assists pa a game. There have been multiple stretches in this entire conference na nagsastruggle yung Ginebra, and they gave the ball to Scottie, and he took over, lit up their offense, And we know he can do it on the defensive end as
Yeah,
well.
and you can really see the improvement of Scottie Thompson, especially also in the playoffs. Parang takeover mode din siya. Pareho sila ni LA. But let's move on to the other side.
He picked one player.
Yeah, he picked one player,
Twice.
of course, the Meralco Bolts, Tony Bishop and Tony Bishop. Of course, it's going to be crucial for him to really try to take over here for the Bolts, although the locals are also doing very well for Meralco.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I thought when they clinched that series against Magnolia, locals really took over. And for the majority of that series, Tony Bishop was excellent. Like, I guess first 2 or 3 games na palang, we knew that if Meralco kept winning and they made it far, and they stuck with Bishop, Tony would really be in the best hit portrays. It was clear early on. Pero, in the elimination round up to the quarterfinals, he averaged 28 a game. It went down to 17, no semis.
Yeah.
But what stands out more for me, 49% shooting from the field, down to 31.
Yeah.
44% shooting from three-point range, down to 21%. And I don't know if it's the same for you guys, pero yung pinaka-impressive for me with Tony Bishop, nung elimination round, his mid-range game and how he could stretch it to the three-point line. So, you know, that's why I put emphasis on him entering the finals, because he's gonna have to go back to the level of play he was at no eliminations in quarterfinals.
And of course, big shoes to fill, because Alan Durham was the guy from Meralco for a very long time, always very consistent. But now, a new face in Tony Bishop. Let's see if he can make a difference this time around. But, of course, may keys to winning si Jat dito. And we're gonna mention it right now. First of all, for Barangay Ginebra, you said consistency is key. And I think since we're a bit short on time, we all know that the story for their season has been, it's been a roller coaster. We've seen eliminations, then we saw them put up a new gear in the playoffs, and right now they have to continue that in the finals. Pero ito, for Meralco, you said apply and withstand pressure. Now that needs a bit more explanation.
I think it's on the defensive end, Meralco has been successful with their pressure defense, proven against other teams, as well as some instances with Ginebra. They have to apply that. Pero baka mas importante yung withstand pressure. When that Ginebra run comes and they get that life from the crowd, that is when Meralco needs to be extremely composed, and they need to power through that pressure that's going to be really clamping down on them.
Jat, you know what? We love those thoughts. I don't know if Diego agrees with everything. Kasi sa totoo lang, Diego has a lot of thoughts he doesn't say out loud.
Yeah, I don't have to say it
Yeah,
right
no,
now, so.
he does.
Just
he
none.
does.
Yeah.
All right, Jat, maraming salamat.
Thank you so much.
And in more PBA news, Converge ICT has officially launched the Fiber Xers as the newest team to join the PBA. In a press conference today, the team was presented featuring head coach Jeff Carriazo along with key players Jeron Teng, Alin Bolanadi, Ray Publico, JC Marcelino, and Brian Faundo. Converge will make its league debut in the next PBA season after taking over the Alaska franchise. Now, when we return, we'll listen to some courtside stories from Fiona Bacani and Bea Havate about the Ildefonso brothers and Clint Escamis. Stay tuned, you're watching The Game.
Indeed, it is another beautiful day for Philippine sports as UAP fans have been welcomed back inside the SM Mall of Asia Arena. Let's get the latest on the ground from our very own Marty Bautista. Marty, first of all, insanely jealous that you're there. Could you tell us just how the vibe is right now at the Mall of Asia Arena now that the fans have returned?
Well, Paolo, you know how it is here in the UAAP. You're going to feel the school spirit. At the moment, though, the Mall of Asia Arena is only allowed for fans at a limited capacity, and not everyone came in to watch today, but the support is still there.
Marty, how have the fans been? Do you think they really missed this UAAP action? Are they going all out for their schools right now?
Well, I've had the chance to sit in and watch earlier's game between UP and Adamson, and I can't tell you enough. It feels so surreal to hear the UP fans cheering again. UP fight. Everybody was ecstatic, and you know that game was coming in back and forth. So it was so fun to watch live once again. It really hits different when it's your own university playing.
Marty, of course, with the fans back, I'm sure the players are feeling that as well. Of course, actually hearing the drums for the first time this season in person. How do you feel that the players have responded to it and based on the action that you've seen so far today?
Actually, funnily enough, I was fooled myself. The drums that you're hearing behind me, they're actually recorded. And the Blue Babel Battalion and any of the school pep squads aren't allowed yet as of the moment in the Mall of Asia Arena. They're not on the stands right now. They're playing it over the speakers, but it still sounds so real. And of course, it still brings the energy, especially for the fans. It guides them when it comes to the cheers.
And Marty, thank you so much for letting us know how it is there in the MOA with the fans back. Now, in the meantime, let's listen to some more courtside stories from the UAAP. Joining us tonight are Season 84 correspondents Fiona Bacani and Bea Havate. Ladies, welcome back to the game, but this time through Zoom.
Hi, Diego. Hi, Paolo.
All right, girls. First of all, we're very happy to have you here, and your smiles are beaming. By the way, kahit via Zoom, to we can really see it. Of course, the both of you have got a chance to talk to a few, or at least get stories on some of our UAP stars right now, UP athletes finding their way throughout the season. Bea, I want to start off with you first, because you actually had a chance to go into stories with UE. Could you tell us who you got to have a story on, and really what story you want to tell?
Actually, I was able to talk to both Clint Escamis and Harvey Pagsanhan, and they actually have quite a similar story kasi they're both, going into this team now being built up as leaders. So maybe I could talk a bit more on Clint muna. Kasi with Clint, he had an adjustment from playing in NCAA and then going into the UAAP. So he also feels now with that shift, he had to change and adapt his playing style then. And since it is a different ball game with college, he knows that he has to play smarter, and he couldn't just get away with raw speed and strength. So with that though, he feels that playing in the NCAA has really gave him that confidence that he needed and even made him more ready going into the UAAP. So now he feels more ready as a leader and as the team's starting point guard. He also knows that he has to be more of a court general, and he has to be more vocal both within and off the court, which is somewhat similar to Harvey's role then for this season.
All right, Fiona, let's go to you. Clint Escamis is getting familiar with the UAAP, but let's talk about two guys that are very familiar with each other. Dave Ildefonso and Sean Ildefonso. What are your inside scoop about this rivalry?
Okay, so now that, the much-awaited battle of the Ildefonso brothers is currently taking place in the MOA Arena, their family group chat is blowing up with excitement from different things. So may iba raw nanghihingi ng tickets, yung iba nangangamusta. Since, they have been in a bubble for quite some time now. And even their lola is so proud, always posting, "Good luck, Apo," for her grandsons. But, mostly, they're just happy to see the two brothers fighting it out on the big stage after being teammates for 2 years. Even their dad, assistant coach for NU, Danny, is really looking forward to seeing them play. Ang sabi niya, alam niya na ibibigay nila ang best nila at dun pa lang sobrang blessed na niya. Now, growing up, tandem daw talaga sila sa kalokohan, which only made their relationship stronger. One-on-one raw sila palagi, not only when it comes to basketball, but even in video games. So there was always some sense of competition, but never jealousy against the other. Sabi ni Sean, one success is also the others. So as they, celebrate each other's wins, syempre hindi rin mawawala ang kamustahan nila inside the bubble. Sean would often call Dave to ask for advice on what to buy, like shoes, clothes, and other things. And, I'm really excited to see their chemistry play out in this game. At nasaktuhan pa nga na the first time they'll ever be playing against one another is when fans are finally allowed back in the arena. So sabi nga ni Sean na, I just can't wait to finally face him, and I'm just so excited to see how this game plays out.
You know what? I'm actually excited to know whether or not sa group chat ng family nila, if the social media banter that the both of them had at each other actually made it to that group chat. Of course, for the basketball fans out there, you can check out Sean Ildefonso's Twitter to know what we're talking about. Pero, we're actually running out of time here a bit, but just so we can share the stories that Bea and Fiona got, sabi ni Bea did mention that si Harvey Pagsanhan, coming in as a rookie, going to be a veteran here for UE, has been quite the journey at syempre. He is one of the first blue chip recruits of UE in a very long time. And of course, si Fiona naman, si Janjan Felicida, staying loyal to NU has been something that is very important to him and is showing, and you can catch it throughout the season. Of course, catch Bea and Fiona very soon in the UAAP, and we are very excited to see the both of you shine as the correspondents for the schools that you will be reporting on. And based on these reports, mga kapatid, I'm guaranteeing you that this is going to be a lot of fun to watch the both of them grow. Thank you very much for joining us, girls.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
And thank you guys for joining us. I'm Diego Dario.
I'm Paul De Rosario. This has been The Game.